Beginning, the human gift. The first time I saw her, she was on her knees, chained, silent, and stripped of everything that once made her divine. They called her Queen Seraphine of Luthra, the once radiant ruler of the Celestine Empire, a civilization that had spanned 12 systems before collapsing under rebellion. Now she was nothing more than a trophy. And I, Commander Elias Ward, a human envoy stationed at the Galactic Council, had been honored with her as a gift, a token of goodwill from the victorious alliance. When the guards shoved her into my quarters aboard the dreadnought Astraveris, I didn't feel honored. I felt sick. Her body was wrapped in tattered silver fabric, her once glowing skin dulled to ash. The luminous filigree markings that adorned all Lutherans flickered faintly, like dying stars. Your people's idea of diplomacy is twisted, I said, turning to the officer who'd delivered her. He laughed. A fallen queen deserves a human keeper. Maybe she'll learn humility. Then the door sealed, leaving only the faint hum of the ship's reactor and the sound of her breathing, slow, shallow, defiant. I approached her cautiously. I didn't ask for this, I said. Her eyes, iridescent silver with a faint ring of violet, met mine. Neither did I, she whispered. Even broken, her voice carried command. Middle, the chains and the sky. Days passed. She refused food, refused rest, refused to speak. The guards wanted to confine her to the stasis chamber, an icy, waking prison, but I intervened. Something about her silence unsettled me. It wasn't arrogance. It was sorrow. So I began talking, even if she never replied. I spoke about Earth, about oceans, sunsets, the smell of rain. I spoke about things her empire had probably long forgotten in its pursuit of perfection. One evening, I found her standing near the viewport, staring out at the stars through her chains. "You miss your home?" I asked. She didn't turn. "Luthra was never a home," she said quietly. "It was a cage with golden walls. Then why rule it?" Her eyes flickered toward me. Because someone had to. And because I believed I could change it. I hesitated. "And did you?" A faint, broken smile touched her lips. "I did. Until they tore my wings away." I thought she was speaking metaphorically until I saw the scars. Faint, silvery ridges traced across her back, symmetrical, delicate, as though something once magnificent had been there. She noticed my stare and turned away. In Lutheran myth, wings were symbols of ascension. The council took mine when they took my throne. The silence between us deepened. Then she whispered, almost to herself, "Do humans believe in mercy?" "Sometimes," I said. "When we remember to." The escape plan. Weeks turned into months. The council moved on to new conquests, and the Astraveris became just another relic of their arrogance. In that time, the Queen spoke more fragments of her world, her philosophies, her regrets. She had once banned weapons on Luthra, seeking peace through unity. But peace, she said, breeds enemies who fear they'll lose their power. Her captors called her a traitor to her own kind. I saw something else, a ruler punished for mercy. One night, she approached me in the dim light of the control deck. Her chains clinked softly. "Elias," she said my name, for the first time. "Why do you speak to me as if I'm still someone?" "Because you are," I said simply. That night changed everything. When the council ordered her transfer to the Cryon mines, a death sentence disguised as imprisonment, I couldn't obey. "Commander," the admiral barked, "you'll escort the Lutheran prisoner to the mines personally. She's a symbol, not a person. Remember that." I remembered. But I remembered her eyes, too, the way they looked when she spoke of stars she'd never see again. So I made a decision that would brand me a traitor to the Alliance forever. Breaking the chains. It began during the third cycle of the journey. The ship drifted through a nebula dense enough to jam most sensors, perfect cover for a betrayal. I accessed the command logs and falsified a distress call. The system routed emergency control to my console. One override, one signature, and every cell on board would unlock for evacuation protocol. But freeing her meant more than breaking her chains. It meant confronting her trust. I entered her quarters. She sat by the viewport again, her wrists bound in silver restraint cuffs that glowed faintly. "Get up," I said. She turned, eyes narrowing. "Another transfer?" "No. Freedom." Her brows furrowed. "You can't be serious." I held up the override chip. "I am." She studied me for a long moment, as if searching for deceit. Then, with a voice trembling between disbelief and longing, she said, "Why?" "Because," I said, "no one deserves to live their life in chains, especially not someone who once tried to save her people." Her lips parted, not in command this time, but in something almost human. When I placed the chip on her cuffs, the locks disengaged with a soft hiss. The glow faded. The chains fell to the floor. For the first time, she was unbound. She stood slowly, as if rediscovering her own body. The silver markings on her skin brightened, flowing like living light. Then she whispered, "You've just doomed yourself." "Maybe," I said. "But at least I did something right." The flight. We escaped in a shuttle meant for diplomatic use, cutting through the Nebula's magnetic storm. Behind us, the Veris roared to life, alarms blaring, engines firing. They knew. "Coordinates," I said, gripping the helm. She hesitated. "There's a world, forgotten, near the rim. Lutheran outpost. If it still lives, they won't find us there." We jumped through hyperspace, the ship shuddering violently. The stress fields groaned as cosmic radiation clawed at the hull. Through it all, she remained calm, regal even in chaos. When we emerged, the view stole my breath. Before us floated a broken planet half-shattered, but still glowing faintly with bioluminescent forests. Lutheran ruins dotted the surface like fractured gems. "Home," she whispered. We landed amid crystalline trees that sang faintly when wind touched them. The air shimmered with the remnants of her people's energy, pure, haunting, sacred. The heart of Luthera. We built a shelter near the ruins. She rarely spoke at first, too busy walking through memories. I followed her, not as a guard, but as a companion. Over time, she began to share her past. When I was crowned, she said one night beneath the twin moons, they sang that my light would never fade. But I learned something: light dies when it tries to shine alone. I listened. I didn't try to fix her, I couldn't. But sometimes, she smiled when I said nothing at all. One evening, she showed me something extraordinary. In the heart of the ruins stood a pedestal of silver stone. Embedded within was a crystal heart, faintly glowing. "This was Luthera's core," she said. "The source of our unity, a living energy that bound us to one another. When the council turned against me, they shattered it." I stepped closer. The crystal pulsed faintly, almost like a heartbeat. "Can it be restored?" I asked. She shook her head. "Not without sacrifice." The sacrifice. A week later, the Alliance found us. Their ships descended like fire across the night sky, blotting out the moons. We ran to the core chamber. She turned to me, calm amid the chaos. "They will not stop until I am gone," she said. "But maybe Luthera can live again." "What are you talking about?" I demanded.